Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and I'm here today on Partner Talks with Andrew Lorraine from Resco. Andrew, introduce yourself and tell the people what you do.
Hey, Rick. Good to be with you again. I think the last time we met was a few years ago when you came over to the Resco office in Bratislava. So it's been some time. It's good to be with you again.
Yes, and your conference in Rome, which was outstanding.
It feels like so many years ago, but it was 2019, and it was like
yes,
just a blink of the eye. So thank you for having me here. I'll be happy to introduce myself and my role and Resco a little bit, and then we can kick this thing off. So at Resco, I am the manager of our strategic partnerships team. So focused on working with our strategic partners, customers, technology alliances, and in general, building business applications together focused on work outside of the traditional office. And I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the US, but I've been living as an expat in Slovakia and working in our Bratislava office for about 6 or 7 years now. So I've set up my life over here pretty well. And although I miss home, I also feel at home here. It's been a while.
Well, you probably don't get the coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles like you would at home, but there's some good points to it as well.
Yeah, I gotta tune in at like 3 o'clock in the morning if I'm. So it really tests whether I'm a committed fan or not if I'm following the team. Yeah.
All right, great. So Resco is very well known ISV in the Dynamics 365 CE space. Tell us a little bit about Resco. You're probably the most successful ISV. Tell us a little bit about Resco and the history of the company and how you've worked with Microsoft over the years.
Sure. Yeah, we've had a great run in the Microsoft space, but the company it was founded in 1999, so it's over 20 years old at this point. And the company DNA has always been about enterprise mobility and solutions for mobile experiences, mobile devices. So I was 10 years old at the time, but the first Resco products were for Palm Pilot and these older devices that I never even really became familiar with. But throughout the course of the company's history, really the focus has always been on mobility, mobile experiences, mobile applications. And we really hit our stride about a decade ago when we created our most successful products, which is Woodford and Resco Mobile CRM. So Woodford is probably names that are familiar to your audience in the Microsoft space. Woodford is the configuration platform, no code, low code. And mobile CRM is the mobile application for executing, sales processes, field service processes outside of the office. So this combination of products really allowed Resco to grow, and we worked through a partner channel, and we expanded quite nicely with partners building custom mobile solutions, enterprise mobile solutions on the Resco platform for Dynamics CRM. So that's really where we hit our stride and had a lot of success expanding globally. We do have a couple other business lines related to Resco Cloud and Salesforce and some other systems, but our bread and butter and our success has been as a Dynamics ISV for mobility. Yeah. Okay,
and Andrew, you're well known in the space because Resco actually powered the field service application for Dynamics 365 CE/CRM for years. But we've got some changes to that program that you wanted to talk about. So let's talk about some of the changes in your Microsoft offering.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here to discuss this because it's of particular importance. There's an expiration date that the community needs to know about. But maybe first some context and some background. Back in 2012, we first partnered with Field One. Field One was the company that created the predecessor of Dynamics Field Service. They were acquired by Microsoft in 2015, and Resco came along with it as the provider of the mobile application and configuration platform and the custom field service mobile app. And that relationship between Resco and Microsoft culminated in 2018 when we signed a direct partnership with them. So entering a very prestigious place for Microsoft partners, Microsoft ISVs, by having that direct relationship. So every time a customer bought a Dynamics Field Service license, bundled along with it was a customized Resco app called Field Service Mobile. It's the blue app or the truck app based on the various icons that were out there, probably familiar to your audience. So that partnership was a huge success both for Microsoft and for Resco. The Dynamics Field Service really scaled exponentially to power really impressive and important field service organizations around the world. So very, very tremendous success and something that we're really proud of. The strategy with Microsoft, however, was to get a first-party mobile application into the platform over time. So Resco was there to fill the gap with our configuration platform, our mobile app, the offline experience, all these things really important in a field service business application. But for Microsoft, there was always that ambition to introduce a first-party application. So that partnership always had an end date. And now we know when the end date is. It's June 30th of this year. So customers, partners, anyone working with Dynamics Field Service and Resco, they have to migrate to a supported application or deal with the consequences of this end of life date. And it's a very strict date. So I think it's worth spending some time on it and what the implications are and how partners and customers should be reacting in this situation.
So, what you're saying here is that if a Microsoft customer or partner has developed a field service application over the last couple of years, they're going to have to migrate that over to, I think it's a PowerApps offering from Microsoft. If they want to stay on the Resco platform, then you've got to switch them over to Resco licenses.
Yeah, so essentially there are two options for customers, partners in this situation. It's to migrate to the PowerApps-based Field Service Mobile app, like you mentioned, built on the Power platform. Now the license is included in the field service license that you buy. So that's kind of the app moving forward that's Microsoft is selling, or it's to stay on the Resco platform. So there are pros and cons of each in each approach, of course. But we, in our experience, we see some functional differences between the two platforms, meaning that Resco is suitable for certain cases, usually dealing with complexity offline, complex business logic. Typically, complexity is the trigger when you look at Resco. And also, there's the consideration of the effort and work that went into creating, customizing, building your own application. So those tend to be the two drivers for why customers look at Resco as an option. And to help customers in this situation, which can be kind of tricky, we created a solution called Field Service 2.0. I can go into a little bit of detail about Field Service 2.0. It's essentially migrating your current application, which is built on Resco but is limited, is constrained, over to the full Resco platform. And fortunately, it can be done in a minimal number of steps. It allows you to work with the broader tool set of the Resco platform, things like our inspections tool, routes, some other different modules that we have. And it comes with a license subscription. So that's kind of the key differentiation to make, is that previously you might have worked with a Resco-based app and Resco tools as part of Dynamics Field Service. To continue working with Resco, it's now going to be a licensed solution like we are for Dynamics Sales or any kind of the customer engagement apps.
Okay, Andrew. Thanks for your time today. This is a very current update, and I think many partners will be interested in this because field service has been a quite popular product over probably the last 5 years. So it sounds like some busy times coming up for Resco.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to plug a session that we're having at DynamicsCon in March.
Okay.
Where we will go. One of my colleagues is going to go into the do a deep dive of the comparison of the mobile app. So that's a good activity to circle and sign up for if you're attending DynamicsCon. Very, very informative session coming up for everyone.
Okay, so we'll put that in the post notes. So Andrew, thanks for your time, and we'll be catching up with you again at some point to find out what's happening at Resco.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back over in Europe sometime at when things are calm and stable, at least compared to the current situation. And Rick, thank you so much for the time and for your listeners as well.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye for now.
Take care.